Greetings everyone, welcome to Advance. This game was played in European Club Cup with the white pieces. We have the magician Divya Deshmukh playing against Aleksandra Maltsevskaya, and this game is going to be one epic game and you're really going to love this. So without further ado, let's start with this game. Hey, Divya starts with c4. She has had two white pieces in a row, so definitely this game is going to be an attacking masterpiece. Let's see how she does it. Hey, just e6, we have g3, now just comes d5. We have bishop to g2, going for the Agincourt defense, knight to f6, knight to f3, and just t-caps on c4. Queen to a4 check, that's how you want to win back the pawn. Bishop to d7, queen caps on c4, and immediate c5. Just challenging those central pawns and central squares here in this position. And now what do you want to do? Hey, just knight to e5. You don't want to allow the development to happen so easily. Queen to c8 in this position, and now just going for this queen to d3, and we have this bishop to c6, challenging the light square bishop, but just this knight captures. Knight captures, you just get easy development for free, but you know, nothing really is free in this world. Here just queen to b5, and now just comes bishop to e7, d3 now, and here castles, and now just comes bishop caps on c6, p captures. Agincourt defense, normally, I mean, many lines, even Arjun plays this a bit too much, and all the games, all the lines I have calculated and seen, call it Agincourt defense, call it Neo-Catalan defense, you'll see that in all of these lines you would want to actually sacrifice the bishop here to ruin black's pawn structure, and you'll get like a lot of compensation for that. But here in this position, you could go for a move like queen to c4. Your position would be absolutely fine. You'll most likely face this e5, taking more space in the center, and after h4 you push the pawns towards the king side. You want to attack here, just queen to f5, and after this knight to d2, rook a to d8, knight to e4. Seems like white is a little behind on development, but that's not really the case here. Even if you play this rook to d4, this knight caps on f6, and after queen captures, you play queen to c3, and here just queen to e6, bishop to e3 now, and the game goes on with white being just a little bit better. But after queen to a4, we have e5 now, immediately bishop to g5, and now just going for rook to b8. We have castles now, e4, finally pushing those pawns and trying to create an isolated pawn. Well, they were allowed this. She just goes for knight to d2. She says she don't mind. You want to create an isolated pawn, you want to go after pawns, you can just do that. I'll just go after your king. Here just e caps on d3 was played, e captures, and now just comes queen to f5 here, just attacking that bishop, but just knight to e4, defending and attacking at the same time. And here we have knight captures on e4. So what do you play first here in this position? That you can see that the engine evaluation just completely shot up. Engine does not like that move, and the idea is very simple. Why engine doesn't like this? Because here your bishop is hanging, bishop captures on e7, and here in this position, Alexandra thought that her position is absolutely fine. She can go for this knight to d2, remaneuver the knight here. Maybe she can try to go for some checkmating ideas, but the thing is that it doesn't work. And the move that you want to play is not that easy to spot, because the thing is that you've already captured this, you've already given him the bishop pair. Why not just go for knight to d2 and maybe have some knight to f3 ideas, maybe have some queen to d5 ideas where you're controlling the entire this, and maybe you can try to go for some sort of checkmating ideas. But the trouble is, those ideas don't even exist in this position. The move that you want to play in this position, I mean, the best move here is knight to g5. And the thing is that obviously bishop caps on f8 will be played after this, but that's the thing that you want to calculate, that you are fine after this. Knight to h3 check, and here after king to g2, knight to g5 again, and queen to f4 most likely, because obviously you don't want to get checkmated. So here queen to d5 check, f3, and just rook caps on b2 with a check, king to h1, and here just going for this king caps on f8. Finally, now you capture this, and you want to be able to calculate all of these lines. I mean, she had the time to calculate all of these lines. She had like 30 minutes to be able to calculate all of this, and then you have to understand that maybe you can hold this position to a draw. But the trouble is, after bishop caps on e7, none of this was played. Here just knight to d2 was played, but knight to d2 is not a good move, because now bishop caps on f8, and that just comes right away. And here what do you do in this position? Here knight to f3 check was played, but now just comes king to g2, and here again knight to d4. The move that you want to play again in this position is just knight to g5. It's the only move that just allows you to hold this position to a draw, but still she missed it again, and knight to d4 came in. But now it's going to be very difficult to hold this position. Here rook a to e1 was played. We have queen to d5 check, now just comes rook to e4, and here just f5. And now you must be thinking, how is this evaluation 3.2? Well, you are losing the pawn, your bishop is hanging in this position, you are losing the rook, your bishop is also hanging in this position. How do you hold this? Well, there is a beautiful move in this position. I'm going to ask you to pause the video, try and find out this only winning move which just gives you so much advantage. Have at it. So congratulations to everyone who's able to find this move, because Divya did spot it. She actually played two brilliant moves. First that bishop caps on e7, then that bishop caps on f8, and now she plays another brilliant move with the bishop. She goes for bishop captures on c5. She doesn't care about the rook at all. But the thing is that you cannot capture this. If you capture the rook, well, I'll simply just capture the knight, and I'll be a very happy person here in this position. It's in a completely winning position because I'll be a piece up. There is no point in doing that. So here just knight to e6 was played, trying to just harass that bishop. But the thing is that it doesn't work, because now just comes queen captures on e7, and that rook is under attack here. Rook to e8 was played, but now what do you do? How do you try to do anything in this position with the white pieces? Here the thing is that the move that you want to find, which immediately crushes black in this position, is f3, and that's a crazy idea, because the thing is that what do you even do in this position? If you go for this f caps on e4, which seems like a decent move, because now you've just grabbed a complete rook and the material seems to be equal, but obviously it's not, because you have these two outside passes. But here f caps on e4 will be played. Queen to h5 now, trying to just infiltrate somehow, but it's just not going to work out. Here just rook to f5. Now just comes this queen to g6, h4, and here just h5, and now here bishop to f2. But now just comes this knight to d8, and after queen to d4, knight to e6. You try and think that maybe you can try to hold this, but after queen to c4, king to h7, your pieces are too constricted. I mean, your king is lot loose. I mean, really a lot loose. All I have to do is maybe just trade queens and just push those pawns all the way, and I'm already controlling a lot of these squares as well, and it's going to be a really easy game to be able to convert this from here onwards. And engine is giving it as a +5 valuation. That's basically a rook up, and you're really not going to survive this, believe me. And if you still have some reservations about how you're going to win this, I'll just show you. Let's say you push a4, c5, and now just comes this a5, rook to a8, and now just comes this b4 even. C captures, queen captures, the pawn is going to be pushed forward. You cannot hold this at the same time while keep on defending your king and all those things. I mean, I can just come up here. It's just a very difficult position to be able to hold in this position. And I have the dark square bishop as well. I mean, somewhere along the line I can place it on this diagonal, just push my pawn all the way to a7, and bishop will be defending everything. Bishop will be at the center of the board, trying to control all of these squares, and it's just going to be a very, very ruthless position that you're going to have to suffer through the entire position. So you can just basically resign. There is no point in playing this. But after rook to e8, here bishop to e3 was played, and now, I mean, it's still winning. It's completely winning, but still, I mean, that was the right idea. Here just comes this f captures on e4. Now just comes this d captures, and here just queen captures on e4. Now just king to g1 was played. C5 now, just cutting off queen and the bishop's defense, and also just pushing that pawn forward. And if you look at the bishop is doing a very nice job of actually controlling a lot of these squares, which could have been utilized to maybe do some discovered checks and try to maybe win this game. But it is just very difficult to do anything in this position. The pieces are a bit too strong. Here rook to d1 was played. Now just comes h5, queen to a3, and just h4. And now in this position, what do you do? Here queen to d3 was played, but now asking for a trade. If you trade, you're just completely lost. So here queen to g4, but now just comes this h3, even attacking the queen and giving up a complete pawn. And here Maltsevskaya actually captured this, but now just comes queen to g6, putting some pressure here, also defending everything here. There is not much you can do in this position. And if you go for a move like rook to b8 in this position, you might think of holding this, because you want to be able to eliminate those pass pawns. If those pass pawns didn't exist, this position could have been a draw. But the thing is that here g4 will come, knight to f8 now, attacking the queen, queen to f5, and rook to b4 now, putting some external pressure on that pawn. Now you just go for bishop to f4, just cutting off the rook's attack towards that. And if you play rook to e4 in this position, the point is that basically you cannot capture, because this just comes for the check and also hits the rook. So all I'm going to do is just queen to d5 check first, and after king to h8, just queen caps on e4, queen caps on g4, after king to h2, queen caps on d1, bishop to e3. In this position, I'm still completely winning. Those two pass pawns are absolutely monstrosities. You don't have anything with your king being weak like that, and this queen endgame will be winning. But the thing is that about queen endgames, it just gets way too complicated in the endgame, and maybe not something you want to do when you're in a completely winning spot. So here after queen to g6, here rook to f8 was played. Not finding rook to b8 was maybe the grave mistake that Maltsevskaya did in this position. Otherwise, she could have tried to hold this in queen's endgame, which gets complicated obviously. But after queen to h5, now here rook to a8 was played, almost finding rook to b8 again. But yeah, this is just not going to work out, because there is a complete winning shot in this position that you can play, which completely ends the game right on the spot. And as you can see with the engine evaluation as well, which is this bishop captures on c5, that just completely ends the game right on the spot, because a rook captures on a2. If you try to go just bishop to a3, and now the thing is that your rook is locked out of the game forever. There is nothing you can do. You're going to have to sacrifice the exchange. If you go for rook captures, b captures, is knight to f8, again trying to go for the same idea that I showed you in a different line. Just the thing is that rook to d8 is sufficient enough to win this game. If you go for queen to e6 in this position, trying to not get checkmated, queen to f3 comes, you ask for a trade, I trade everything, and just rook captures even is completely winning. Hey, just capture this. I mean, just I have 3 to 1. I mean, you cannot even think of surviving here. But after rook to a8, just a3 was played, just saving that pawn, and even a calm move like that is completely winning here. Rook to b8 finally, but now just comes this rook to d2. We have rook to f8, rook to d6. Now just comes this knight to d4, bishop caps on d4. We have c captures, queen caps on h4, finally asking for a trade, but you cannot actually even think about trading queens here. But still, she goes for queen caps on h4 because there was no better move. But the thing is that the resulting endgame is completely winning. Here g captures was played, rook to b8 now, but now just comes this b4, rook to a8. Now just rook caps on d4, rook caps on a3, rook to f4, and just king to h7 was played, king to g2, rook to b3, and now just going for this f3, king to h6, king to g3, and g5. But just the thing is that here just this check comes, king to h5. We have h caps on g5, king captures, but now just comes this rook to b6. It's a rook endgame with 2 extra pawns. I mean, you're not surviving this game. It doesn't even have to be connected pawns, it's just completely winning. Hey, king to f5 was still played. Now just comes rook to b8, rook to b1, b5, rook to g1 check, king to f2, rook to b1, b6, king to f6, b7, and after rook to g7 here f4 was played, rook to b3, f5, and king to h7. Here just f6, just pushing that pawn all the way, rook to b6 now, but now just comes this rook to e8, and it was on this move, on just move 58, that Aleksandra Maltsevskaya resigned the game, and Divya Deshmukh, the magician, got this spectacular victory in 58 moves. And with that, Divya gained actually the 2 rated ELO points that she was looking for. Now she is actually 2500 rated. And now next opponent she's facing is actually 2496. So with the next game, if she's able to win that one, or maybe even draw that one, I mean, she will just be in the FIDE rating list, the current rating list, as 2500 rated, and that would be a really great feat by this genius prodigy, getting those 20 rated points in FIDE Swiss. If that wasn't good enough, she's going to be taking really good points here, playing in this really strong tournament, and afterwards she's going to be playing in FIDE World Cup, and maybe she'll be playing there as a 2500 rated player, and that's going to be absolutely spectacular. Hopefully she keeps her confidence high, and I mean, plays like spectacularly like this with the way that she's playing. She's definitely one of the top favorites for, I mean, winning the candidates and even just going for and challenging Ju Wenjun, and that's going to be absolutely spectacular if she plays like this, because this is definitely a world chess champion in the making. So yeah, thank you for watching. I'll be coming back with some of these amazing games, so stay tuned to the channel, stay updated, and I'll be seeing you guys very soon. Thank you very much for watching.